What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, August 9th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
Good morning.
Good morrow to you, young lass. How are you?
It's technically afternoon now.
Yeah, somewhere it's still morning though, right? Maybe Hawaii.
That's true.
Is that still the point?
Yeah, I think so.
It all runs together. It's so fast. Do we? And I hit the button. Did we? Is it afternoon?
It's 12:06.
12:06.
Yeah, we're running a little behind today.
Aren't we always though? It's all just a guesstimate. Does it annoy you as being the guest host, or not the guest host, but a co-host who's not here every day?
Not usually. If I have something important to do directly after the shoot, I let you guys know.
I feel like this show's usually always wrapped by 12 or 1:15. That's clockwork. You don't have to worry about that. You'll stumble into Kinda Funny Games Daily as we record it. Because if you didn't know, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily each and every weekday on a variety of platforms. We jump into the nerdy video game news you need to know about, getting real hands-on and nerdy with it. Then we get into your questions, your bad PSN names, a little bit of everything. We just have some fun, you know what I'm saying? Come join us. There's multiple ways too. You can watch it as we record it live over on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. But as this is a podcast, we don't interact with the chat. Instead, you'd have to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong if you're watching live. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up. Of course, if you want to be part of the show any other time, kindafunny.com/KFGD. That's where you put in your questions, your bad PSN names, everything else. And you can watch youtube.com/kindafunnygames. We put the show up there. Listen on podcast services around the globe. And remember, we love and appreciate you, your support. We need it. Please tell your friends. Share it, rate it, review it, thumbs up it, subscribe to it, all that jazz. Housekeeping. Party mode is up right now for everybody for free over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. There's no show on Friday because it's Big Kev Dog's bachelor party. We're all going to be on our way to Vegas to get crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Please make a hangover inspired video at some point.
I'm sure there will be many a video that stems from this. And then something to bring to your attention, PAX West is coming up Saturday at 5 p.m. It's the What's Good Games girls doing their panel.
That's right.
And then Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm doing a one-man cancer panel. So come find out all about my cancer. It's a bit different, but PAX West was the first show I ever missed when I got diagnosed with cancers 5 years ago today. To the day. So I wanted to come out and share that with you and do that, but that's a story for another time. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 3 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Number 1, Andrea, get hype. Valve's got a new game.
Oh, snap.
It's called Artifact. If you haven't seen it, you definitely, I'll read about it here, obviously, from Paragon, but if you haven't seen the reaction videos to Artifact getting announced, highly recommend you go through your Twitter feed and find the live things. Because what happens is this. Artifact is a card game based on Dota 2 involving 3 boards and a selection of characters from Valve's flagship game. Though other details remain light. The game was announced just before the final match of Day 2 of TI7 by event show host Sean Day 9 Plot, who gave a vague description of the game that seemed to indicate it would involve building barracks, creeps, and lanes, parentheses, after suggesting the announcement was not related to Dota 2. Comparisons to Blizzard's Hearthstone seem inevitable. Were you know the video I'm talking about, right?
No, I've seen the official teaser, but I haven't seen the
people
reaction
are there
shot.
In the arena filming it. And it's like Artifact, and they're clapping and going crazy, and then it pops up and it's like a Dota card game, and everybody goes, oh, like it's thousands of people going, ah, you know what I mean? Just because they were so psyched for a new Valve like video game, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be like Hearthstone.
It sounds like it's going to be exactly like Hearthstone.
Exactly like Hearthstone.
Which is, a smart business decision on the part of Valve, because Hearthstone's been very financially successful for Blizzard.
Yeah.
But I mean, is this the game that people want from Valve right now?
Right.
Hell no.
I want to stick with that line of questioning. We have something to talk about because number 2, Gearbox has revealed its new game. It's called Project 1v1 from their official site, which is, I think, project1v1game.com or project1v1.com. Project 1v1 is the code name for Gearbox's top secret, in development, competitive first-person shooter that combines the action of fast-paced 1v1 first-person combat with the metagame strategy of a collectible card game. Project 1v1 will be holding a short, closed technical test this summer. We are looking for a limited number of players to test the online infrastructure and learn what players like you think about the game in order to inform and influence future development. The test will be held on North American servers, so international players may experience decreased performance. 2 games heavily in this card fashion now, of card games and all these different things, is I guess I wasn't paying attention, Andrea, when it was, because there are always these waves of video games and waves of video game ideas, right? Where it's like, oh man, we always talk about it, RPG elements, or it's an RPG light, where RPG elements made their way into every game, and every preview for about a year and a half talked about that before it was just like, all right, this is games now. And then it was similar where every game was suddenly going to be free to play, and then that kind of ran out on that. Then we started getting into like these Overwatch, the other Gearbox game that I can't think of the name of right now.
Battleborn, hero shooters.
Exactly. Here we go. That's going to be the wave now. Is it now? And loot crates, or loot boxes in games, we've talked about the whole Shadow of War thing has been this with loot chests and random drops. I keep talking about Marvel Heroes and their loot chests. Is collecting cards now the big thing? We saw how addicted people got to Hearthstone. So, okay, here's going to be Artifact from Valve. And then on top of that, like, hey, we're going to take this and take the Madden Ultimate Team, opening up a pack and feeling great about it and put it into a first-person shooter?
I don't think so.
No?
I think when you think about like, traditional card games, I mean, if you go to like a gold standard like Magic,
sure,
it still appeals to a very niche audience, even within the video game world, which is still considered a niche audience if you look at entertainment as a medium at large. When you're, lumping in movies and TV and everything else.
All forms of pop culture you could possibly be watching.
So I think it's still like the overlapping Venn diagram of where that falls is not going to be as big as you may think it is. I think this is an interesting idea. It sounded to me immediately like Paragon, except Paragon's third-person shooting with a card game element in it. Cards are interesting. They're fun. They're not great for every type of gameplay, but I'm intrigued by what Gearbox is doing here. I would like to see how that RPG element works in with a FPS game.
Yeah, especially a 1v1 one.
Yeah,
that's the interesting lineup of
those
it.
Audiences, people who like card games, like Hearthstone, like, Legends of Skyrim, or is it Skyrim Legends?
I think Skyrim Legends.
Elder Scrolls?
They'll definitely let us know.
I'm definitely getting it wrong. I know I'm messing it up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everybody. Like those kinds, the people who like those games aren't generally people who are super active in FPS PvP games as well. Is there overlap? Of course. There are people who love both. But from my experience talking to people who play those games, they're not the same audience.
Well, see, what's interesting about it when you talk about a collectible card game being shoved in with a shooter or whatever is it makes sense in the way that I think even if you don't like Magic and you didn't get into Hearthstone or any of these different things, there's part of, and I'm not going to generalize too much, I guess, but there's a part of what I feel like in what makes a gamer, what makes them want to go out is that I want to get that rare item. I want to get that rare loot. I want to do this thing nobody else can do, or I want to be the best. I want to assemble this best team. And I feel like you've seen games come in and take those things and put them places they wouldn't believe. Whereas like when they started doing Madden Ultimate Team, I was like, that's stupid. And now MUT's so important, so popular, where you do go out and you open up packs of cards with the coins you're getting in the game or whatever that then build out a team you can play with. And so you want to find that better running back. You want to find that better quarterback.
Right, but I think the card system in Madden is not the same type of card system that you're getting in Hearthstone,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
So like the cards are really just a vehicle of a delivery system to get the players that you want. It's not like each individual card has its own stats and then you have to, look how those cards interact with other cards. It's not the way that those cards are designed.
True.
It's merely just like a little placard that the players then posted on.
Well, that's what's going to be interesting about the Gearbox one, right? It combines action, a fast-paced 1v1 first-person combat with a meta game strategy of a collectible card game.
Well, and Gearbox is great at loot. Look at how excellently they did it with the Borderlands franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued too. What I like about it is the idea of a 1v1 shooter. You know what I mean? In terms of like, I think when For Honor popped up, it was like, oh, that's an interesting idea of melee combat, which you don't see a lot in an online, let's all go at it. But you never see it as 1v1, at least on the consoles, at least on that mainstream level. To get in here, I wonder what these maps are going to look like, how that plays out. Like, or is it close? Do you take a lot of damage? Everybody's going to have different stuff. I assume that's where the cards come in terms of buffs I can have and things I can use.
When you think 1v1, it sounds to me...
1v1 me, bro.
No, it just sounds like you're going to be dying constantly.
Sure, the matches are going to be short. It sounds like.
Or they're going to be super boring because you're just spending your time hiding.
Yeah.
I don't understand the idea of 1v1 in a shooting game because bullets usually kill pretty quickly.
Sure.
So like For Honor worked because when you're, swinging a sword around, it's a little bit different with parrying and all the different combat mechanics that are in play there.
With my parrying card, Andrea Renee, I'll be able to play it before the match.
Sure. I think we're suspending the disbelief. Maybe just a little too much.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say that I'm interested about it. Because we're talking about like when you're saying with Valve, it's a game nobody wanted or they didn't think about. You know what I mean?
Not that nobody wanted, but like if Valve was going to announce a game, they have some other games that people have been clamoring for
that they'd like to get to before
time.
This thing. Sure, right. Sure. I think this is in the same vein of I'm interested in Project 1v1. Yeah. I like it and I want to know more about it. Whereas with Battleborn, it was very much like, oh, what is this? And it was like, oh, it's a MOBA. Okay. And then like they started.
It was never called a MOBA.
They talked about, no. This is one of, you can go back in the beginning.
You go back.
You go back in initial preview and stuff. It was MOBA influenced. It had MOBA tendencies.
But Gearbox never said that. That's some people editorializing in their previews without actually spending the time to look at the game. I'm saying this because Battleborn got an unfair shake. I thought that game was much better than people gave it credit for.
Okay. Well, by the time it got here,
Well, their biggest problem is that they launched the same month that Overwatch launched.
Yeah, and they looked a lot
Blizzard
alike.
crushed them.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, come on, Gearbox. Never launch a game when Blizzard's launching a game.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was not a MOBA in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
For the record.
Set the record straight. But I mean, MOBA side out of it or whatever, it was just more like you looked at that and you looked at Overwatch and everybody cared about Overwatch and Overwatch was the talk of the town. I'm talking about running up to it as well. Battleborn was the one I keep forgetting about. Nothing about it seemed interesting. It didn't seem like an original idea. It didn't seem like something I would care about. And I'm removing myself from not even that big of a first person hero based shooter kind of fan. Mm-hmm. But like 1v1ing, that sounds interesting. How the cards play into it, that sounds interesting. All right, that seems like a novel idea. Seems like
something new. I guess we'll find out.
What about Artifact? You gonna play that?
No.
The
Dota universe, the lore around that universe is not something I've ever gotten into, and I just am not like motivated to learn it to enjoy a card game in that universe. If I'm gonna go back to a card game, I'm gonna go back to playing Hearthstone. Yeah,
new packet or whatever is the DLC, right?
Yeah, the expansion.
Yeah. And number 3. There's a No Man's Sky update. What I'm going to read you is a letter here from Sean Murray and Hello Games that they put out to the people. That augmented reality game they had been doing finally ended, and they put out this letter via email. Hello, citizen scientists. It's been a year since No Man's Sky first released, and it's been an exciting, intense, and emotional year for us at Hello Games. We've been quiet, but we have been listening intently. We've spent that year working hard on free updates for this game our team cares about so much. Update 1.3 will release this week and will be available for free to all No Man's Sky players. We're calling it Atlas Rises. It focuses on improving the central story of No Man's Sky and adds the ability to quick travel between locations using portals. Patch notes will be made available shortly before the update goes live. What we do is much more important than what we say, but since launch we have sometimes focused too much on that. We wanted to reach out and celebrate the devoted community that means so much to us. We launched Waking Titan to try to do that. When we posted those cassettes, this is part of the augmented reality game that just finished, we didn't know what to expect. In the last 8 weeks, 250,000 players from across the globe, 174 countries to be precise, have come together, united by a shared love of mystery and science fiction, to form the Citizen Science Division. You've traveled great distances, both real and virtual, undertaking complex tasks, and explored the depths of simulation theory. New friendships have been forged, and a tight-knit community has been created. Most importantly, a cute hamster has a new home. You've become part of the No Man's Sky origin story. It's been an honor to watch, but this is just the beginning. Whether you followed Waking Titan or not, we welcome anyone to sign up for the Citizen Science Division and join us on the official Citizen Science or CDSD forums. Our journey continues. Thank you for this year. We hope you enjoy what comes next. Sean. You can be part of the show at kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like Mocha Desire did. Hey, Greg and Andrea. This question is about the PR shit show of a game known as No Man's Sky. Sean Murray has released a letter about a very large update coming this week, this week, that his community that I didn't know existed seems to be excited about and is giving them hope yet again. Do you think there is any sort of update that would bring back the players who have already abandoned this game, or are those players gone for good? And if so, what kind of content do you think could be included? Love the shows. Keep up the great work. Beyond. Andrea, run me through your No Man's Sky take, your hot take on No Man's Sky.
I think it's great that they found a community who appreciated the game for what it was. We don't need to go into all the blunders they made when that game was released a year ago. That's been covered
to death
10 times over.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic that they're still interfacing with the people who are playing that game. 250,000 is a very sizable group of players.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're making content and they're releasing it for free is a gesture of goodwill to the people who have stuck it out and who are still in that world and still playing that game. I don't think anybody who set it down is going to come back to it because of this. I think there's too many other things to play.
Sure. This is a tired story, so I'll recash it as quickly as possible. I enjoyed No Man's Sky for what it was. The reason being is that Big Kev Dog and I went to an E3 preview a year and a half before it came out and played it, and it was like, oh, this is the game. I didn't know what the fuck this game was. You've been on stage. I don't understand, blah, blah. I played it. This is what it is. And having the hands-on experience with it set expectations for me. So when I got it and I listened to Death, Sex, and Money over and over again while I ran through and mined ore and did this and traveled there. I had fun with that, and it was good. And then one day I just stopped and I never went back to it. This stuff is exciting to me in the way of like, oh, cool. I'm glad that they're still supporting this game. I'm glad they're still making changes to it. I would love to jump back in and try it, but I know how far from the platinum I still am. I don't really feel like getting, it's the exact same situation. I was heartened to go on GAF this morning and see the thread about this and see so many people there going, oh man, that's interesting. Maybe I'll put it back in. Maybe they'll give it another shot. Because for me, the larger narrative of No Man's Sky's debacle and the fact that they keep working on doing it is the fact of, what does this mean for Hello Games? What does this mean for Sean Murray? Can this studio ever make another game? Like, do they have to change their name? Have they been shamed publicly that far? To see that even a little bit of gaff goodwill is there for them still is, okay, that's interesting. I'm glad that's the case.
That's an interesting idea. I don't think that they're going to have to change their name or anything so drastic. I mean, clearly they're going to be asked about this game from now until the end of time, which they just need to take with a grain of salt and, move forward. But I don't think that them releasing this free update is going to sell more units for them.
100%. No, I don't
So
think
at a certain point, Sean needs to take a look at his studio and the people who are working with him and say, when do we close the book on No Man's Sky and move forward with the next project that's actually going to help bring the studio back into a position where they can, make something that people are excited about again.
Sure. And you have to wonder, how much money they're making right now off of No Man's Sky or any of their games. I mean, Joe Danger, everything out there. But to keep the lights on and keep people there, like you have an influx of capital at launch, sure.
Despite all of the hullabaloo around the launch.
Yeah.
It sold pretty well.
Oh, yeah. It sold really well.
So,
but it was just that then people were pissed off. So many people were angry.
But at the end of the day, if you're pissed off, but you don't actually, do anything about it, right? If you don't sell the game back or whatever, they still made all that money.
Sure. Well, and there was the, not controversy, but Steam refund policy at the time and everything else they were working through.
Yeah.
I'm with you on it. It's just going to be interesting to see, like, if you bought the game and did nothing about it, right? Well, maybe what people are thinking about doing is the next time Hello Games happens. I don't think Sean Murray can ever do interviews again for the next game. I think the next game you have to have a different spokesperson out there at the very least.
I guess that's a cross that bridge when you get to it kind of a thing.
And that's my other thing too, is I'll be fascinated to see how long they continue to support it. Because I think their idea and when Kevin and I talked to them, they had grand ideas about this game being a Minecraft-like game in terms of like, we're updating this thing until there's no player base left for it. You know what I mean? We're going to be there for this community. But the community went so toxic so quickly when it came out and it wasn't what they were expecting that I don't know how you balance that. And it's interesting, they talk about how they try to let their actions speak louder than words or whatever, and the fact they've been so quiet. Like, when the ARG game, augmented reality game, popped up for the first time, it was, oh, this is interesting that this is happening because of the fact we hadn't heard anything from them in forever. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, an update would drop and it had done this or added this mode and different this. I know, obviously they're taking it out of the chin already with people want to be jerks about it. They're talking about like, oh, we're improving the story. And like, I saw the gaff threads of just like, oh, we mean making a story and doing something there. It's going to be interesting to kick the tires on it. I don't have that time right now with all the games coming out to jump in and do it, but I'd like to believe people would do it. I'd like to believe that there's a silver lining to all this. I'd like to believe that this it'll never be a success story, But I like to believe that when No Man's Sky's book is closed and put down, it ends in a happier place than I feel where it is right now. Because I feel like it was such a hard launch on everyone involved, both the players and then the development team, that I'm sure they still feel like they're beaten up over this, and they still take it every time anybody tweets about it or talks about it is a joke. You know what I mean? There was somebody, a friend, I forget who in the industry, had tweeted though weeks ago, just a blanket tweet of like, is No Man's Sky worth like the $5 it was on sale for or whatever? And I was like, yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, it is. Like, the game, if you know what you're getting into and you just want to go around and build and, get a better ship and get more resources and expand your spacesuit, like. It's
a nice, relaxing, exploratory experience. Exactly. But they just didn't explain that at the beginning.
Very true. And that's the problem. And I'd like to believe for everyone involved, there's when this is done and you talk about No Man's Sky, it ends in a place where people are like, yeah, it was fine. They turned it around in the end, blah, blah, blah. Or, whatever. But it's just not the laughing stock I feel it is now. It's a punchline now. It's such a cheap punchline in the video games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that sucks. I don't want to see anybody like that.
It does.
And then, I'm sorry, I missed this because it wasn't bolded.
I know,
You added a number 4 to the Roper Report.
I did.
Official Szechuan sauce up for auction.
Szechuan
sauce.
So, I added this because I wanted to give a little spotlight to some of the charities that he's working with. So, Rick and Morty fans have seen that McDonald's sent creator Justin Roiland like a 64-ounce jug of the Szechuan sauce that was featured, because do you know the backstory about this?
I was going to say I need a timeout explanation because I literally I know that the Szechuan sauce is connected to Rick and Morty. I am not sure if it was ever real. I am not sure if it's just a joke that's now been created. I have not looked up Know My Meme on this at all. I've been very busy my entire life. So I don't know. You're going to recap everything about it for me.
Well, I'm going to try to keep this brief. So the shtick is that there's an episode where they're trying to find the Mulan Szechuan dipping sauce for these McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Which was real. Okay.
And it came out in the 90s and they discontinued making it. And so they're like going back in time just to get this fucking Szechuan sauce.
Okay.
And so because it was like such a big meme from the show, McDonald's decided to create a small batch of the sauce. And then they sent a jug in a special Pelican case to Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
It was from another dimension and he tweeted about it. And he was like, oh my gosh, they actually did it. They actually made the sauce.
Yeah.
And then they created 3 extra ones.
Okay.
And they gave them away. And then one of those went to somebody that you and I both know, Robert Workman, the DCD. And it was crazy that he, of all the people that entered, won this sauce. And so he was like, well, I can keep the sauce and like try it and that'd be really cool. But wouldn't it be cooler if I auctioned the sauce off and gave some of the proceeds to charity?
Sure.
So I wanted to kind of just give a spotlight. So because the charity is now, or the auction has now gone over $12,000.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So it's currently listed on eBay. It's a 64-ounce bottle, and it includes the Rick and Morty Pelican case, which really is the cool part about this. And it's currently listed for $12,300. Justin tweeted about the auction. Deadmau5 is apparently in a bidding war with somebody for the Szechuan sauce. But I think it's a great thing to just highlight if you guys want to check it out. 10% of the proceeds are going to go to Extra Life. Another percentage of the proceeds are going to go to Able Gamers. And then if it reaches a certain amount, he's going to donate even more money to other charities as well.
Nice.
So I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I saw when he announced he was doing it, the initial reaction over the weekend was horror from the internet, where they were sending him death threats and all these different things because he wasn't naming charities and he wasn't at the time immediately publicizing how he was going to do this.
Correct. So I think the reason why people got up in arms was like a lot of people were like, oh, you're a fake fan. How dare you auction it off? You shouldn't have even won it. And I'm like, well, I mean, sure. I think it's better for him to give it away to somebody and raise money to do good things for as many people as possible than for him to just keep a bucket of sauce. But, to each their own. People like to scream on the internet. So when they originally listed the eBay item page, they didn't have it because eBay has an option to do an official charity partner. And so now they've updated the page so people can calm down. So it's an official verified nonprofit partner page. So Extra Life is listed on the eBay page. So
when is it closed, do you know?
It closes tomorrow. This is why I brought it up.
Be interesting to see,
It has 1 day and 2 hours left. So tomorrow, just after the show, it'll close.
Excellent, awesome. crazy Deadmau5 is involved.
Yeah.
But I guess that shouldn't surprise me. Deadmau5 will always have a chip on my shoulder. Because do you remember when he faked that he lost a Vita in a cab? Like he had a pre-release Vita dev kit that Sony gave him or somebody lent him or whatever. And he tweeted that he lost it in a cab. And I had to write about that for IGN. And then like 3 hours later, it's like, hey, JK, yes. Like I was assigned, we should write about this. I was like, should we? All right, fine, did it. And it was just like, then 3 hours later, it was JK. Fuck you, Deadmau5. Andrea, I'm fired up. If I want to know what games to look at and stuff like that, where do I go?
You go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily show hosts each and every weekday.
One game for you. Victorum is up on PC.
Oh,
no, there's one over here now, too.
Yeah, I added that.
Go ahead. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
The Absolution DLC. Yeah, it's the PS4 exclusivity period is over. It releases today for Xbox One and PC.
Man, that's a long exclusivity period, wasn't it?
It's just 30 days.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it came out that recently. Interesting. I got new dates for you, too. Obduction, that's with an O, comes out August 29th on the PlayStation 4. Pankapu comes out on September 19th on PlayStation 4. Over on Xbox, they've announced that anyone can now join the Xbox One preview program. Here's some rundown on that. Alongside our continual efforts to hear all feedback shared by the Xbox Insider community, we're now simplifying entry into the Xbox One update preview rings by partnering with first and third-party studios to provide Xbox Insiders with early access to alpha and closed beta playtests of Xbox Live enabled games on both Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs. A lot of Xbox in there. This means Xbox gamers will now be able to easily opt into the Xbox Insider program and gain earlier access to the latest system updates and flighted games. It's easy to get started. Simply navigate to the store on Xbox One, search for the Xbox Insider Hub, download the app, and get started testing new console updates, games, and apps. This is interesting and of news or of value to us because we were talking about the fact that I think yesterday we talked about it. The new Xbox update is going to be out there and people are going to be testing it and screwing around with it. And it said in the report of like it was available for like some ring. They kept calling it not the alpha ring, but something to that effect, where it was like, oh, this ring.
Yeah, the alpha ring.
Is that what they were calling it? And I was like, what the fuck is an alpha ring? And then to see this, that you can now opt in, it shows you how you progress through the different rings, not of hell, of Xbox testing, which I guess in some cases, if it breaks your system, might be hell. But in like how long you have to do it, how many different systems updates you have to do to move through the ranks to get to alpha ring, where you get the latest, greatest, cool shit right off the bat.
Right.
It's an interesting program, and I definitely appreciate the transparency. ARMS is getting an update too as well. GameSpot's report on it goes, Nintendo Switch fighting game ARMS has received a new update. And version 2.1 adds new training exercises and changes a bunch of fighters. There are also lots of balance changes not specific to any one fighter, such as the rush gauge filling slower when your attacks miss. You can jump over to GameSpot or just look at ARMS, I assume, and see all of it. But there's a bunch of nerdy ass shit in there if you're nerdy about ARMS.
Unrelated.
Sure.
Did you care that the firmware update for PlayStation 4 leaked?
I do care. Which one? Not 5.
5.0.
Is it good? Tell me how good it is. I've been at the doctor this morning. I got 9:45 is my appointment. I got plenty of time. I woke up at 7:15, assembled the show. I was like, if I miss anything, Andrea, keep me honest. Tell me what it is.
Eurogamer has obtained a copy of the update's release notes, but Sony has yet to detail the update itself. So, according to Eurogamer's sources, the PlayStation 4 upcoming firmware update 5.0 will allow PS4 Pro owners to stream via Twitch at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Okay. Other top-line changes include an overhaul of your console's master sub-account system, the ability to follow any user, and the addition of notifications to the PS4's quick menu.
Oh, God.
As of 5.0, you will be able to follow anyone's account similar to the system on Xbox One. Currently, you can do this just for verified accounts of note, such as the official accounts.
And us.
The official accounts for games and some individual developers and YouTubers.
Us. Follow me on PlayStation.
What else
4.
is here? It will give an expanded range of options for those who have sub or child accounts on their home console. You will be able to choose if you want existing friends or anybody to follow you. You can block users too.
Okay. Can we finally opt out of just getting the conversation, getting added to groups nonstop?
My gosh, I wish. Lastly, system notifications will be visible from your quick menu, so you don't need to head back to your home screen. You will also be able to check the status of your uploads and downloads here too.
Okay.
Minor changes include push notifications for events, spectator comments on screen while broadcasting in VR mode, the ability to link broadcast to a PlayStation community, and support for 7 more languages.
Okay. Not as revolutionary as I wanted it to be. Usually the whole numbers are pretty big. I don't apologize, Andrew Renee. Thank you for bringing this to me. This is a 5th item on the Roper report here.
Sorry, a little out of order. I noticed it and then I was like, oh no, I should probably mention this before we...
I'm hoping that there's more to it. I want there to be some big item, big ticket item in there for a 5.0. I want to see what the hell's going to happen.
We shall see.
We shall see. It's getting close though. That's what that means. Let's check in with you, the reader. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like Night Mist did. That's a fucking name right there. Hello, and he goes ... parentheses. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention last episode. Do games need to be a healthy medium? Yesterday and today, news broke of a study that showed that action games with waypoints cause atrophy in brain functionality as players just go on autopilot, while 3D platformers and puzzle games do the opposite. My question is this. Should designers consider the health benefits or consequences of players when building their games? Personally, I'm split. As an adult, I think it's their art and they should create their own vision. But I also think games played by children should be beneficial to them as they are developing. Now, he's referencing an NPR story that he put on here. I clicked on it, read it. He summed it up bare bonesly because the one doctor in the article is like, I'm not saying this is a big deal either way in terms of video games in general, but it's an interesting point because the take was that the hot take, the crazy action ones where we're just following a waypoint in Call of Duty are more of a brainless activity, whereas clearly a Mario Brothers or a Witness, some kind of puzzle game where you're thinking and having the problem solve in a different fashion, and not just having the answer or the path spoon fed to you, made you think harder. Do you think developers need to worry about this?
No. The short answer is no. I think that video games serve a lot of purposes and they don't just need to be mentally stimulating in that kind of a way. I don't think they need to make you smarter. I think video games are good for a variety of mental health reasons. A lot of people play these games, these so-called mindless games, to de-stress.
Sure, escapism.
To check out from, the stress that's happening in their life outside of that game, whether it be family-related or work-related or just life-related. And I don't think that we need to go so far as to categorize the health benefits as needing to be a specific way.
Sure.
I think that they serve a variety of healthy purposes.
Yeah, that was my thing where I don't think it needs to be a concern of developers. I agree. I agree more with the statement. It is art. It's on everything else, right? Like, should Hostess be making Twinkies because they make people fat if you just eat those? No. Like, you know what I mean? Everything in moderation. You need to be in charge of your own body in terms of what you want to do. It's not, if we're going to worry about certain video games not being as beneficial as other video games and causing atrophy or, a mindless activity, why are we not stopping cigarettes right now? Why are we not banning alcohol? Like, there's a million other things that are literally killing your body in ways I think that are more identifiable than the pros or a con of a video game. Where no, we don't need to get in here and have government regulations or even as an industry worry about it.
Yeah, it's about personal choice and being personal responsibility.
Yeah.
There's plenty of educational games out there if you want to take it to the, well, what about parents and kids conversation? There's plenty of ways for parents to kind of monitor what games are good for education or good for brain development. There's a lot of options these days.
Get them leapfrog games, Yeah. Kids love those, right? Maybe.
Hey, my 2-year-old nephew had his own iPad, so...
Oh, yeah, they're all over it.
It's like every kid has a touchscreen these days.
It's true. Have you seen these? You hear these stories of these kids walking up to TVs and trying to swipe on them? Because that's how they think it should interact.
I don't blame them. I've done that before.
Well, as we continue to hide power buttons and volume all over TVs, we definitely need that. Friend of the show, Javier Bonian Ruiz, wrote in and said, "Greetings, Greg and Andrea. Greg, let's play a game," which is a scary way to start a question because it very much sounds like Jigsaw. Last week on What's Good Games, the girls chose one franchise to resurrect and one franchise to get rid of forever. I'll write down their choices. Brittany would resurrect Earthbound and get rid of Final Fantasy. Steimer would resurrect Quest for Glory and get rid of the Shadow of Mordor series. I have to imagine when Steimer said that, Alexa gasped or screamed or did something.
I think we all were like, why that one? It's so new. There's only one.
I mean, well, you got to kill something. You know what I mean? You got to kill somebody here. Alexa would resurrect Suikoden and get rid of the Legend of Zelda, which is fucking blasphemy, and I've lost all respect for Alexa now. And then Andrea would resurrect Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning and get rid of Rock Band.
One clarification. This is correct, but I had instant regret after we got done shooting the show. As much as I like Amalur, I wanted to change my mind to bring back Portal, because I could really use some more GLaDOS in my life. But continue on.
Well, now I got to think it through, because I like this question so much, and you had teased this on an episode of this show where you actually talked about this a bit. But it was that I never actually thought it through on what I want to resurrect. So I'm resurrecting this. So I think I looked over here because, of course, these are all my personal games. And I'm like, what I want to resurrect, and is what I talk about all the time, stick with me, I'd want to resurrect the AKI/THQ wrestling games. So your WrestleMania 2000s, that engine I want to resurrect. I want to resurrect that developer. I want them making those games again, all right? And so then what I kill... This is always the easiest answer, right? Because just anything I don't care about.
No, but so that's the thing.
Dota.
No, but like if you watch our episode, this segment, we make qualifiers at the beginning of the segment.
Lay some of the qualifiers on me, please.
So the qualifiers are: it has to be a franchise that you have a personal investment in, because otherwise it doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah,
which is why I
thank you.
Right, okay. So which is why we all picked franchises that when Brittany said Final Fantasy, we were like. Right, and same with Alexa with Legend of Zelda. Like that's a really giant franchise that she's got a personal connection with, and same with me with Rock Band. So it has to be
okay.
It has to be something that means something to you, and then you have to explain why you would be ready to see it go away.
Here's my question then: am I sunsetting the franchise, or am I erasing it from history?
You're not erasing it from history. Yeah, you're just saying there will be never again any more of this thing ever.
Metal Gear Solid. Don't bring out Metal Gear Survive. I would kill Metal Gear Survive in the womb. Not that I think I've played Metal Gear Survive. It's not broken. It's not terrible. It's a very weird game. I don't understand why it exists, but why don't we just end it? This is a bad breakup. Everyone's upset. We don't need to keep going. You don't need to put this out. You don't need to do this. Just stop it. Just let us all be sad with how it ended and just be there. A great fucking game. Why is Kiefer Sutherland in it? Where was the real ending? Doesn't matter. Hundreds of hours of amazing gameplay. Stop there. Don't release Survive and do that. But is that good? I have a personal stake, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
Okay, because I feel like can I ever get remasters from anything?
No, it's done forever.
Okay, see, because I would say I'd put Infamous out there in a way, because I love Infamous, But if I can't get, but I still want Infamous remaster. I just don't think we need to keep going unless we bring back Cole. But that's a whole other story. If you Sucker Punch, if you need me to come up and workshop ideas with you, I'll do it. But I'm not putting that out there if I can't get remasters of it. Things I've staken.
I mean, it sounds like you picked your answer.
I know, but I still feel like it's cop out because I'm kind of happy about that one.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be sad, right? I'm supposed to be torn up over this.
Yeah, you're supposed to feel conflicted. Like it's something that you really love, but you're willing to sacrifice it to bring back something else.
All right, yeah, this is a good question. This is a good one. It's tough. I would say no. I mean, I like Uncharted, kind of. Like I'm excited for Lost Legacy, totally into it. But even that, I'm like, if it didn't happen, we would have just ended with 4. That would have been fine.
What about Sully's spinoff game?
I don't need a Sully spinoff.
Come on, it would be great.
Collection game, something that'll come out, some goddamn mobile piece of garbage. Retrobot Jr. says, with Sonic Mania just a few days away and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 having just released, I find myself more excited than ever lately to play old or old-fashioned games. The vast majority of new AAA titles don't interest me much. Do you see this wave of nostalgia continuing as a big revenue source for publishers moving forward, or is it just a trend now? It's definitely the trend right now. Look at Crash Bandicoot sales. We keep talking about it in the fact that, oh my God, I can't believe there's, Tim's show on Monday, this many Crash fans, and like Tim being the Crash fan was like, I didn't expect it to do this well. I didn't realize that there were so many people out there. But it's a wave you can only ride for so long, right?
Correct. There are only so many really iconic and well done retro franchises that could be brought back and have the success that Crash had. And quite frankly, I think Crash may be an anomaly. I don't think that we're going to see a lot of these or even like a handful of these selling in the millions of units.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they have to sell that many to be successful.
100%.
I mean, a couple 100,000 units, I'm sure a lot of publishers would be happy with, depending on the release platform, because Sonic is a digital release, right? It's $20.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it does, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of these.
It's also just speaking to the quality of it, right? Where I think Sonic Mania people are super excited for because, hey, this is a great Sonic game, and we haven't had one of those in a while, arguably. And you can argue a bunch of different ways, but it's great in the way that I, as a Sega Genesis kid, remember and what I want to play.
And the key is execution.
Sure.
So Crash executed very well. Vicarious Visions did their job in really making that a great game. And from what I've played of Sonic Mania, Sega has also tapped the right teams to make this excellently done as well. I mean, it plays super smooth. Yeah. And I think fans of the original are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah. What I was talking about playing it, right, when I sat down, is it plays the way I think Sonic 1 played, and I think Sonic 2 played.
Yeah.
Because when I've gone back and played those in like collections or whatever, it's like, oh, this is way more basic and not as fast or whatever. It's fun, but it's just not. As a kid, I have these giant eyes. I'm taking all in. This is so great. It's so much better than Mario, of course.
I mean, never.
Well, at the
Sonic's
time, though,
never better than Mario.
I was drinking the Sega Kool-Aid left and right. I didn't have it.
You still are.
What? No, trust me. They burned me, Andrea.
Okay.
Never forget.
Never forget.
I bought a Saturn, goddammit.
You did. I'm sorry for you.
Next question comes from Jared Cody Sean. He says, good day, Greg and Andrea, a.k.a. Paragon Woman. A follow-up question from last time, but Andrea, did you get your hands on the Paragon update yesterday, despite the servers imploding? And if so, what are your impressions on the live environment?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So last night when the servers finally came back online, I jumped in, I built a couple new decks, and then I played 4 matches, and I played 2 co-op matches and then 2 PvP matches.
Sure.
Because they force you now to play 1 solo or 1 co-op match with the new update to test out the card system before they'll let you play in PvP, which is smart. Wow. It's so different.
Yeah.
The core gameplay is the same, right? The shooting, the lane pushing, the minions, that's all the same. But the way that each individual hero plays is so different, and I'm still trying to get a grasp on this new gem and card system. It's going to take some studying for me to figure out like how to optimize my decks. I like that you can now take your deck and apply it to any character instead of making a deck specifically for one hero. So I can make like a power caster deck that I can use for any caster I want to take in the mid lane, for example. So I have like 3 separate heroes that I have master skins for that I kind of rotate between when I play that role. So I have that. So I can build a carry deck if I want to. I can build a couple different support decks that I can swap out between characters, which I like.
I want to take an aside with you.
Yes.
Because Jared's follow-up question was, also I forgot to ask last time, but what master skins have you unlocked so far? So I have Gideon since last year and recently unlocked Gadget.
I also have Gadget. So I have Gideon, I have Gadget, I have the Fae.
For me and a lot of people watching or listening, what the fuck's a master skin?
Okay, so a master skin is the ultimate reward for reaching the maximum level for a hero.
Okay.
So the heroes go from level 1 to level 10. When you're at the final, when you hit level 10, you unlock the master skin. And it's a special skin that you wear that's really shiny and fancy. It's got like flame colors on it. So they've changed the mastery system with this new update, which I really appreciate as somebody who's almost at the level cap. So they've raised the level cap from 50 to 99. And so legacy players kind of have their hours, because if you hit level 50 and you still played for another couple hundred hours, you didn't really have a lot of progress. But somehow they figured out, I don't know what the secret sauce was that they used to calculate what your new level was. Yeah. But my new level now is like 92, I think, or 87. Okay. I can't remember. Okay. Anyway, so now they have a crown system, because before, if you wanted to showcase, hey, like I've played with this character a lot, I'm really good with them, you had to wear your master skin. But sometimes wearing your master skin made you a target and you didn't want to do that.
Sure.
So you can choose to turn
Go undercover.
Yeah, you can choose to turn your mastery crown on and off. But you also have these other great skins. So Gideon, for example, who is a warlock caster that I love, he's got a bunch of great skins. But if I want to showcase that I'm a master with him, I have to use his master skin. So then I have all these other skins that I never get to play with. But now they have crowns, mastery crowns.
Okay.
So I can wear the crown with any of the skins.
Very nice.
So I'm pretty pumped about that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Jeff Kinney wrote in and said, would Tacoma be better in VR? Have you played Tacoma yet?
I've played a little bit of Tacoma.
I don't think it would be any better or worse in VR. Maybe it might make you more, when you're in the zero G stuff, it might make you more prone to car sickness. But no, I don't think, the Gamescast, I do a spoiler review thing, or not. Yeah, on Gamescast. No, I did it at the end of this show.
Yeah.
We do too many shows now, where I spoiled everything I thought was really wrong with Tacoma and everything else, and like what my problems were, blah blah blah. And then we did on Gamescast a spoiler-free one, I think.
It was spoiler-free on Gamescast.
Either way, none of my problems were the perspective. I was in the world. I loved the story I was being told on a character by character basis. I don't think Tacoma in VR would matter one way or the other.
It's not going to make the story better.
Yeah.
So
no then. I'm looking through for one final question. What do I want to do? I don't know. I'm looking for a question. That's about 5.0. See, here we go. Right now, again, ran out of time with the doctor because they take forever here for some reason. So I'm looking through. I'll tell you right now, Arif Joan 96, your question's too long. Why would I don't have, what does it look like I got all day here to sit there and read all this stuff? What are you talking about over here doing all this stuff?
Well, in fairness, sometimes you read some pretty long responses.
Yeah, well, but I mean...
Don't be mad at him.
All right, that's true, I guess. I do. But then, you're right, I guess. Okay. I'm going to read this because it's about a game I didn't know about that somebody's talking about here.
Okay.
All right? This comes from X-Wing V-Man X. Holy crap, Greg, the day has finally come. Megaton Rainfall looks like the Superman game the world has been waiting for. It doesn't power you down or give you... It doesn't power you down to give you a challenge. Instead, you are invincible and all-powerful, but as you fight to protect the planet, you have to hold back in order to not destroy cities and the planet yourself. I hope it's as good as this. Oh, it's from the PlayStation blog. Hold on, I'm going to open the link right here. The live show we're doing it here. Live show. PlayStation blog's talking about this game up here. No, man. Megaton Rainfall. Okay. First-person superhero sim, Megaton Rainfall, flies on PlayStation 4 and PSVR September 26th. Okay, hold on. I'm excited. Got any gameplay of it? These are all like tech demos. Whoa. Okay, wait. It's a guy flying around. All right, I'm interested. Oh, we're shooting. Okay. Oh, okay. Everybody go check this out on the PlayStation blog.
Could you maybe narrate what's happening over there?
I'm in first-person mode. I got some hands, and we got some weird-ass octopus alien UFOs all over the place. And I'm shooting stuff at them, and I'm flying around. I'm going to beat... Oh, the Earth's cracking in half, it looks like. This is interesting. I'm going to check it out. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to squad up, Andrea?
Yes, let's do it.
This is where one of you writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, giving me your platform of choice, your username, and what game you need help in. I read it to the world of best friends, then hit you up on that platform, befriend you, and go after it. Right now, we're reading one from Tyler. Tyler needs friends on Xbox One. Tyler's Xbox One username, Taygato61. That's Taygato 61. That means Taycat61, by the way. Gato means cat.
Yes, it does.
I don't know what Tay means. I am planning on having a very long and intimate relationship with Destiny 2 when it comes out in a few weeks, and would love to have some fun. Loving best friends to ride alongside with. I'm currently playing Marvel Heroes Omega, Overwatch, Battlefield 1, and Rainbow Six Siege as well. If you're looking for a filthy casual, parentheses, sponsorship please, like me to have some fun with in any of these games, hit me up. Ladies and gentlemen, you playing those games? You're excited for Destiny 2 on Xbox One? Hit up Taygato61. Taygato. Andrea, what do we get wrong over at kindafunny.com/you're wrong?
Not much, actually.
Good.
This one's kind of funny. I mean, this is not really a correction. This is somebody being funny, but it's kind of a correction.
Throw it in there, have some fun.
During You're Wrong yesterday, on the topic of editorializing, Greg said, some of you, though, are trying to be Bill fucking Shakespeare over there writing goddamn novels. Stop it, get to the point. Yeah. William Shakespeare was a poet and a playwright. He did not write novels.
I knew it as I said it, all right?
I was just there. Off of New Zealand,
motherfuckers.
Thomas.
New Zealand.
So the Elder Scrolls game,
Yeah.
the Elder Scrolls Legends is the name of the card game.
Okay.
They just put out an expansion, Skyrim of Heroes. Heroes of Skyrim. That's what
Are
it
any
is.
of our people playing that? Kindoffunny.com/KFGD. I'd like to know.
Lastly, I want to clarify what I said in my You're Wrong from yesterday.
Jesus. We're now getting sequels to You're Wrongs. Okay.
I said the Xbox One runs a version of Windows 10, and it seems like you interpreted that as the Xbox One runs Windows 10, which is true, but not really. So to clarify, the Xbox One runs a version of Windows 10, but not a full desktop Windows 10 experience. I suppose a simpler explanation would be that Xbox One is based on Windows 10, but you can't use it as a PC.
Is this Phil fucking Spencer writing in?
No, it's Awesomastic. Awesomastic. It's a Taylor Swift avatar. So I'm in. Do you want to see?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, all right.
Yep.
You got good
Sorry
taste
if you
in
didn't interpret
avatars,
it this
Phil
way and
Spencer.
I interpreted your interpretation wrong.
I think you interpreted her interpretation of your interpretation correctly, so I don't think you have to worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, August 9th, 2017. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Remember, we need you to be part of the show. Kindoffunny.com/KFGD. Also, you can watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames each and every weekday, or you can go get it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, which also has a new party mode up for everyone right now, or get it on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get it, thank you for getting it. We love and appreciate you. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow with Andrea. No show on Friday because Kevin's getting married and we're going to go to a bachelor party, blow him away in Vegas. I think that's right? We're blowing you in Vegas. Isn't that what's happening on your bachelor party, Kevin?
TMI, Greg. TMI.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.